We came, we saw, we claimed the throne. In 2 years, the old lady had finally fallen, and Roma had dethroned Juventus to be crowned Serie A winners in my second season in charge of the Stadio Olimpico. Adding to that, a Coppa Italia, which of course we retained after winning it in Season 1, plus a Supercoppa victory over Juventus as well. 4 domestic honours in total in 2 seasons for Roma. And at the end of my second season at the Stadio Olimpico, after I met the board, I had to say, maybe it's best for both parties if I'm to move on and go elsewhere. Domestically, it was a sublime season, only losing once in the Serie A all campaign long, but of course you couldn't ignore the failure in the Champions League. After being knocked out in the quarter-finals by Liverpool in humiliating fashion, 6-3 was the final score over 2 legs. Roma board wanted a bit more from the £500+ million we'd spent assembling the side. And I just said, you know what? I've given this side the Serie A. I've given them back-to-back Coppa Italias. But I don't think I'm the right man for the job in Europe. I've had 2 seasons in the Champions League. You asked me to reach the final on both times and I wasn't able to do it. I've given you the Italian core you asked of me. That's why you brought me in. I've given you some of the best young talent in world football. I've given you a fantastic chance to become the most dominant side in Italian football. But in Europe, I think it's now time for someone else to tackle that challenge. So for me, it's arrivederci and it's time to say goodbye. And there were many clubs interested in me come the end of the season, including a couple of big boys, Barcelona and Real Madrid, who have been winning La Liga over the past decade. Chelsea were also rumoured to be in the mix for a chance to get me to replace Frank Lampard. Thankfully, in the end, Chelsea decided to keep faith with Frank Lampard and keep him at the helm. I'm delighted about that as well, because I love Frank Lampard. Me and him, we might have a rivalry with Chelsea in the save, but me and Frank Lampard, there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of us. PSG as well, they wanted me to come in, but I didn't really want to go to PSG, man. They're dominating French football, and I just thought, you know what, I want to challenge myself and have a new challenge. And so when this club expressed interest, after Diego Simeone decided to resign at the end of the season on the back of their defeat in the Champions League final to Manchester City, they said, do you want to take over from Simeone? He's been in charge for over a decade. He won us our last La Liga title, which was 12 years ago. Do you want to be the new man in to replace Diego Simeone? Big boots to fill. But they like my character. They like my drive. They like my determination, my passion, all the things that Simeone embodied at Atletico. And they said, the job is yours, you want it. And I said, see, let's go. So what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 135, and yes, for Season 7, our 7th season in Career Mode, we are once again moving teams, and we are heading to a new country. We're heading to Spain to take over at Atletico Madrid, and after toppling Juventus in the Serie A, now we've got to try and topple Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga with Atletico Madrid. I can't wait for this new challenge. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And also, guys, this is Saturday morning for you. You know the score. I don't even need to say it. You guys know what's coming this morning. If you want a quadruple upload weekend of Career Mode episodes, get this video to 1,000 likes and we'll have 4 episodes of Career Mode this weekend. So there's your challenge, guys. 1,000 likes for another quadruple upload weekend. We've had a quadruple upload weekend since the save began. Let's keep the streak going and bring in the new season with 4 Career Mode episodes as I take over at Atletico Madrid. So yep, the deal has gone through. I am now the new Atletico Madrid manager for the season 2025 and 2026. And this is the team I've inherited at the Metropolitano as well. Now, it's a decent team, but I must be honest here, I don't think it's even as good as the team we began with at Roma. Now, there are some really class players in there. You've got Aymeric Laporte, who's now one of the best centre-backs in the world. Jan Oblak, who's the highest-rated goalkeeper in the world. Arthur, Palacios, João Felix is there as well. It's a really, really good team. However, it definitely needs some improvement. And if we're going to topple Barcelona and Real Madrid, those two have been winning La Liga for over a decade now. The last time a team toppled Barcelona and Real Madrid's dominance, it was Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid 12 years ago. If we're to do that, you know, win the title, become the best team in Spain, we're going to need to improve this team. There's no doubt about it. There's lots of work to do here with this Atletico Madrid team. I'm very excited for it. And after Diego Simeone resigned, he gave me his letter of recommendation to the board. And they said to me, it's time to get to work. Right from the very first season. Because as you'll see in just a moment's time, the expectations from the board in our first season at the Metropolitano are quite remarkable. Let's take a look at the squad here, again, in full in the squad hub. There's a lot of players out of deals that come the end of the year. None bigger, of course, than João Felix, one of the best players in the world right now, 93 overall. The Portuguese centre-forward has his contract up come the end of the season. And like with Roma, we've got contract issues right in the first season. There are, I believe, 11 players with their deals up come the end of the season, and some big names as well. You got Camelo, that 24-year-old striker, João Felix, of course, being the biggest one of the lot, and also Yannick Carrasco, the Belgian as well, who's of course been at Atletico Madrid for quite some time now. So lots of contract problems to sort out in the first season. So as you can see, lots of players get put on the transfer list as soon as I arrive, because again, we're going to need to completely change this Atletico Madrid side, like we did with Roma at the start of our journey at the Stadio Olimpico. Right in the first transfer window, we made major changes, and again, that's what we're going to have to do with Atletico Madrid. Right from the first transfer window, get straight to work, move on some of the old guard, some of the players that have been there for a long time, like Carrasco, like Thomas, and make sure we make this team as strong as it can be in order to topple the Barcelona and Real Madrid dominance. And when you take a look at the objectives for Season 1, domestically, we've got to win the double. Win La Liga and win the Copa del Rey and win the Champions League as well. I was not expecting that. The board have asked us to win the treble in our first season with Atletico Madrid. Now listen, it's a 5-star team. It's a great team. You've got Oblak, you've got Felix, you've got Laporte. There's 3 90-plus players in this team. But Oblak and Laporte are both in their 30s. So they're not going to be in their 90s forever. We've got £130 million to work with, but with contract problems in my first season as well, with quite a few aging players, being asked to win the treble in our first season. Atletico last year finished in 3rd in La Liga, were knocked out in the round of 32 in the Copa del Rey, couldn't even reach the last 16. I mean, that is a lot to ask for in my first season, and I don't know if we can do that. But I said to the board, who said they liked the fact I built an Italian core with Roma and a British core with Sheffield United, even though they want me to build a Spanish core with Atletico Madrid, which I'm happy to do, I said to the board, listen, if we're going to win that bloody treble, I'm bringing my boys with me. And it starts with the shocker. He's coming here and he's going to be my first signing like he was with Roma. He's a 4-time Golden Boot winner in major European leagues, back-to-back Golden Boots in the Premier League, back-to-back Golden Boots in the Serie A. He might be 86 overall, but let's be honest here, in his form, he'd be regarded as one of, if not the best player in world football. So I said to Roma, how much do you want? He's valued at £40 million. I said, do you want one of my players here? I've got Carrasco on the transfer list. They said yes, and in the end we agreed a deal of £40 million plus Yannick Carrasco, the Belgian as well. He was on the transfer list anyway, so we give Roma a very good player there. And of course, like with Sheffield United, we left to join Roma. I'm not going to totally fleece my old team. I'm still going to give them a lot of money for some of their players and also some players along the way as well. So Carrasco is off to the Stadio Olimpico in a part exchange deal. And as I sat Ivan Toney and his agent down, I found it interesting. He was ready to take a rotation squad role. And I was like, Ivan, for goodness sake, mate, he scored 39 goals last season and got 24 assists in the Serie A. Mate, come on, man. That's too humble. You're too humble, mate. You're going to be an important squad member here. Of course you are. You're going to be starting up top alongside João Felix. And there we go. Our first signing with Atletico Madrid for £40 million plus Yannick Carrasco is the shocker. He's been doing it at Bramall Lane, at the Stadio Olimpico, and now surely at the Metropolitano as well. Toney is in. And at 29 years old, we know he won't be in his prime forever. This might be his final season when he bangs in the goals left, right and centre. But I feel very confident he'll do it and hit the ground running in his first season at Atletico Madrid. Toney is in. I had to get the shocker with me. It's an old school Doc's career mode. Of course, we're going to take our legends of the save with us wherever we go. Toney is in. And again, he and João Felix starting up top together. I can't tell you how excited I am for that partnership there. 4 years between them. João Felix, of course, the younger player. But either way, I think this season together, they could be to top 2 scorers in La Liga. I really believe that. I think if we do become the top scorers in La Liga, like we were with Roma last season in the Serie A, they could be the top 2 for goals this season. So very excited for that partnership to see how it works. I think it's going to be great, man. And I can't wait. So Tony is in, £40 million plus Yannick Carrasco. And of course, he was going to become my first signing with Atletico Madrid. But still, following that, we did have a bid here for Carlos Isaac, one of the players on the transfer list right here, 75 rated, 27-year-old right back. We've got like 6 right backs here. So, of course, we can afford to sell a few of them. Carlos Isaac might be on his way to Porto for £7 million. And also saw here 2 bids are coming for Garcia and Dos Santos. They both got accepted. And I was like, hang on, how has that happened? So I was looking for the email and I couldn't find it. And I didn't realise there's an email came the very next day that it's because they had release clauses and they were both met. But also they came for Tony Moya as well. You know, there are quite a lot of deadwood players here. You know, Moya, like Isaac, is 27 years old but 76 rated. And whilst that's not that bad, the fact of the matter is the board have asked us to win the bloody treble in my first season. These sort of players are not going to guide us to a treble of trophies in our first season. If we're going to have squad players, what we need is young talent. And the fact is, there's very little young talent here at Atletico Madrid. I'd say there's probably only 1 or 2 players that are young that excite me for the future. That's it. There are so many players here that are fringe and deadwood and need to go. And we need to totally change this Atletico Madrid team. I wouldn't say like with Roma, we need to, you know, sell 20 players and sign 20 players in the first season. We don't need to go that far. But we do need to make some major changes here. Because the fact is, this team as it is right now is not good enough to win the treble. It's a very blunt thing to say, but it's true. This side is not good enough to win a trio of trophies. The League, the Cup and the Champions League in our first season. So we've got to be ruthless. Fact of the matter is, these players have not got the ability to stay here and guide us to a treble. They've got to go. We've got to make these major changes. So yeah, Isaac had a bid with Porto. Sadly, as you see here, he rejected the move to Portugal. I didn't know about that, but yeah, he rejected a bid there. And sadly, he stays. But Moya has gone. And we had a couple of more release clauses getting paid here as well. And following that as well, I thought this was very interesting. We had around £100 million in our budget, but I was trying to sell some players like Nathan Ake and Thomas as well, players that are in their 30s now that could get us quite a bit of money. We were only getting bids for our real deadwood players that offer us basically nothing whatsoever. But PSG put in a bid for Ollie Shaw of £61 million. And I was like, lads, hands off, alright? Ollie Shaw is coming with me. You think I'm going to leave him at the Stadio Olimpico or let him go elsewhere? Fuck that. Shaw's coming with me. He's Ivan Toney's younger brother. Shaw is coming with me to the Metropolitano. So as soon as I saw that bid there, I raced to my transfer shortlist alongside Emmanuel Ayer, Barry Walsh and Riccardo Orsolini. We had to make sure Shaw would come in because we don't even have an official left back here with Atletico Madrid. So we need one for the new season. So it's only fitting that we have the chance to get Ollie Shaw. We've got the money to sign him. 88 rated, 22 years old. He had to become my second signing with Atletico Madrid. And like in my old school career modes, for those that are new viewers here, you wouldn't know this, but in my old school career modes, which is what this is, whenever we would move teams, we would always take the biggest legend of the save and some of his supporting cast as well. And Shaw is Tony's younger brother. He had to come with us. So after a lot of negotiating with Roma, this took absolutely ages here as we were trying to get the best deal possible for our 22-year-old left back here. We eventually managed to settle on £72.5 million. So £22 million over his current market valuation. A huge amount to pay for the left back. But listen, 88 overall and just 22 years old. He's one of the best fullbacks in world football. Of course, Ollie Shaw was going to become my second signing with Atletico Madrid. He agrees a 5-year deal on £75,000 a week. And my boys are with me, baby. Oh yeah, Ivan arrives and Shaw comes a couple of weeks later. Welcome, Oliver Shaw, to Atletico Madrid. He and Ivan are going to be starting with this Atletico Madrid side. And already our team looks better after signing my bros, baby. Shaw and Tony coming with me. And if we're to do what the board have asked of us in our first season, win the bloody treble... Well, listen, the main reason we had so much success with Roma in our 2 years, 4 domestic honours, and of course, don't forget, with Sheffield United, winning them their first ever Euro piece of silverware in the Europa League final, and guiding them to the Champions League as well. Sure, and Tony. Let's be honest here. They were the main two reasons they had to come with me to the Metropolitano. Welcome, boys. We're here in Spain. It's time to topple Barcelona and Real Madrid. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's season opening, then please do drop a like. Don't forget 1,000 likes for a quadruple upload weekend of Career Mode to kick off the brand new season. So let's get it done. Well, we'll make a lot more new signings and also play our first games with Atletico as well. Much love, guys. Have a great weekend. 1,000 likes for a quadruple upload weekend, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.